this is Sergeant Margiata, out. Or if you need to confirm something, Roger out or copy out. But a simple, you, this is me, out will suffice. Doesn't need to be flashy, just straight to the point and brevity. Next pro word is going to be say again. In the English dictionary, civilian life has taught to use the word repeat. I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that? No. In military world lingo, it does not mean what you think it means. If you need somebody to send a message again because you didn't understand it or hear it all, just tell them, you, this is me, say again your last, or say again all before, or all say again all after a certain word. But I personally like to just tell them to say again their last, get them to resend the entire traffic, so there's no possibility of me getting the wrong information. Now, don't ever use the word repeat when you're talking on the radio. It is not a pro word that us, the 11 Bravos, or 11 Bravo machine gunners, anti-armor, we do not use that pro word. That pro word is reserved for the 11 Charlie indirect mortarmen. That is their pro word to repeat a fire mission. Not only a fire mission, but their last fire mission that they did when they said, nobody tells them to repeat. They're repeating their last fire mission. You can see how that shit could go wrong. If their fire mission was last fire mission was 10 minutes ago, and Joe Blow's squad happens to push into that fucking area to clear it out, and somebody says fucking repeat that wasn't supposed to, and they don't, verify that's a correct order, and they get fucking gung-ho and put out rounds on that position, you can see how that is bad. Fratricide, blue and blue, fratricide is not a good thing in this unit. Might be fake, but we fucking frowned upon that shit really bad. So say again is what you want to use. Next pro word can be used two different ways. It can be used by the person sending the information or by the person receiving the information. This pro word is I read back, or just read back. Read back is a good pro word to use if you are sending important information that needs to be heard or needs to be understood correctly and can have no assumptions to it. Now, the way it's used by the person sending the information is, you, this is me. He sends the important information, and then he tells you to read back over. When he tells you that, he wants you to basically read back what he said for verbatim. And he'll tell you that the read back was correct or read back was wrong, and he will fix the fuck up. Don't take it personal. So that is how it's used by the person sending the important information. Now, let's say the person sending information doesn't think it's important, or he's just so fucking busy with shit going on in the battlefield that he just gives you that information, but you find that it's important to get it right, you can initiate the readback. So, for example, he would start off, this is me. He sends the important information over. You respond with, this is me. I read back, blah, 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 the important information over. At that point, he will, or she will, say that your readback is correct or wrong. So it can be used both ways. Uh, Next, pro word. Actually, I'm going to group them together. The two pro words are going to be wait over and wait out. They're two separate pro words, but they kind of have a similism or similarity in how they are used. So wait over and wait out. Wait over is used if you have, something going on and you can't respond, or you can't get into a communication back and forth with somebody because, shit's hitting the fan. So instead of giving them dead air, fucking static over the radio, just simply tell them, this is me, wait over. By telling them to wait over, it tells them you need roughly 30 seconds to get your shit unfucked, and you will respond back. Now, by saying wait over, you regain control of that frequency because you over his transmission, but you just told him to wait over. Now, keep in mind that you and him are not the only two people on that frequency, so think ahead. If shit's hitting the fan for you, it's probably hitting the fan for other people. And it might only take you 30 seconds max to get back to them, but you still have control of that net, which means nobody else can use it. Be thankful, be thoughtful, not much as being nice, it's being, giving other people, a fucking fighting chance. So you can use the next pro word, which is wait out. Wait out is simply what you think it means. You just tell them, this is me, wait out. This is one of the chances or one of the times that if you did not initiate that contact with the other person, you can out that transmission, that contact with the other person. Like I said, most of the time it's going to be the person who initiates the transmission who will out it. This is one of the times that the person who did not initiate the transmission will out that transmission. This is something you want to use if shit's going down and other people definitely need to use that frequency. So instead of having everybody wait for you to undo your stuff and get back in touch with who was trying to contact you, just fucking do a this is me, wait out. That tells the person that you're fucking busy and you need over a minute, or excuse me, over 30 seconds to a minute to get back to communicate with them. Now, I give you a approximate time for each of them, but it's something that common sense will dictate. And that whole common sense is, if it's a busy communication that day, try doing a wait out instead of a wait over. Next, pro word is Roger. Roger simply means you understand the information that was given to you. Somebody asks you, you understand what you need to do? Roger that. Or, yeah. Simple. Next pro word kind of dovetails off of Roger. It is going to be Wilco. Wilco. That is abbreviated for will comply. Not only does it mean that you understand what was said to you, but you will comply. The example of that would be if I happen to be Sergeant Smith's squad leader and he was my fire team leader, and I told Sergeant Smith, I need you to push west and clear out the 2-story building. Over. All he has to do is come back with Sergeant Margiata, this is Alpha Bravo. Actually, it would be this is Alpha Bravo Wilco. Over. That's all I need to hear from him is Wilco. Right there, I know he understands what I want him to do, and he's fucking going to do it. That's what Wilco means. If he told me simply, actual, this is Alpha, Roger, over. Well, that tells me, okay, he understands what I want him to do, but is he really going to go do it? Because all he told me was, yeah, I understand what you want. But is he going to go do it now? Or is he going to go do it, 10 minutes from now? So the proper one would be Wilco. All right. You have some simple ones. That is, I'll group these two together. Correct and wrong. Correct and wrong. Pretty sure you can figure out what those mean. Correct is, either that question or that transmission was correct. And obviously, if the transmission was wrong, example, if they were doing a readback, and if it was wrong, tell them or fix what's wrong with it. Don't just say, this is me, readback is wrong. Over. Well, okay, that's fucking nice. What the fuck is wrong with the readback? That's another thing that didn't have to be asked. If there's something wrong with the readback, this is me. Readback is wrong. I say again, readback is wrong. Correction is, and then correct the readback. We're all fucking big boys here. We can take it. Fix that fuck up, because we can't leave any assumptions to what's going on. We're in a fucking war zone. We're in a battlefield. We're getting shot at. We need everything, that we can take to have a fighting chance. We don't need to fucking make it any worse or harder than it already is. Now, I had mentioned that when two people are on a frequency and they're communicating, they're transmitting back and forth, that they have control of that frequency. Well, let's say that you have something more important that you need to get through. Well, there is a pro word for that. And it is break, break, break. And then you have two different traffics that you can send with that break, break, break. You have a priority and an emergency traffic. but it's always going to start with break, break, break. You, this is me, priority traffic or emergency traffic, break over. That is the polite way of telling the two people on that frequency to shut the fuck up and that you have something important to get across. Now, example of priority traffic would be if you as a fire team leader comes into contact with the enemy. That's important. That's priority over what is probably being said on squad frequency. That's something a squad leader needs to know. Okay, shit, one of my squad fire teams are in contact. That's very important for him to know. He needs to know that if he needs to either reinforce his guys with his second fire team, or he needs to maneuver them and flank the enemy, push through them, and destroy them. That's important information. So that's priority traffic. Now, don't just say break, break, break. Priority traffic, all that good shit, just because you're calling into a contact report. No. Break, break, break is reserved for when two people have control of the net and you need to take over. So that is an example of priority traffic. A example of emergency traffic would be if your fire team is out of AT and BMP3 spawn of Satan is rolling up on your nutsack. That is emergency traffic. Because one, you have no fucking AT. Two, 40 mics, HEs or HEDPs will not do shit to that BMP. And also 3, BMP3 is a fucking spawn of Satan because it has 7.62 coaxial, it has a fucking autocannon, plus it has the large diameter smoothbore round. So yeah, it's a fucking evil bastard. So that would be a great time to use emergency traffic if that frequency was being used. And I'll say it again, the way you use that is all you do is key up while they're talking and come out with break, break, break. You, this is me, either priority traffic or emergency traffic, break over. At that point, the person you're contacting will fucking come on comms, you, this is me, send your traffic over. And that's when, if it's that bad, you start fucking shitting your pants and fucking yelling at the top of your lungs what the fuck is going on. You need help or whatever. One more. Last pro word, kind of. Well, it does have the same pro word per se in it. This pro word is just simply break. Break by itself, you can think of it as two things. You can think of it as a period in a sentence or even a comma. And you can think of it as a filler word. Uh, filler words for us humans, words like uh, like. Those are filler words for our brain to catch up with our mouth. Bubble fucking over the radio is not a good way to have brevity over the radio. So you can use that to help, have your brain catch up with your mouth. Also, you can use break, like I said, as a period or comma. So if you have a large amount of traffic to send, and instead of just whatever, that person with all kinds of information, all at once. You can break up that traffic. Uh, so if you're giving them all kind of contact reports here and there, and grid refs and all this shit, you can just simply put in breaks in between the information, and it's as simple of this is me. I have an enemy squad bearing 350 break. At that point, you release the transmit key. You hit the transmit key again, and you continue on with your transmission like it never stopped. So, an uninterrupted example would be this is me, have enemy contact, uh, fire team size bearing 230 break, range 523 meters, over. It makes it easy for him or her to digest that information. Anybody have question, comments, or concerns on those brevity or those pro words that I just went over?
Yes, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
What's the question?
I missed the very first pro word. I was writing all these down. I'm sorry.
Nope. Don't apologize. You asked the fucking question and you didn't just say yes, so that's fine enough for me. That's something you will learn in the unit. Don't apologize. If it's something that you fucked up on, I mean, you didn't fuck up on this, but just example, if you fuck up, don't apologize. Just correct it. That's far louder of an apology than a fucking sorry. Yes. So the first pro word I went over is this is. Way this is used would be if I was initiating a uh, transmission with, let's say, Sergeant Smith. The way I would use that pro word would be Sergeant Smith. This is Sergeant Margiotta. Over. So pretty much every time you key up the radio, you're going to be using that pro word. So I'll extend it a little bit longer here. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Over. He'll come back with Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. Send your traffic. Over. That's that point. We've got it established. He knows who's calling him. He knows he's being called on a radio, and he has answered back saying that, he's got me, by saying, Sergeant Smith, Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. Send your traffic over. He's ready for me to initiate that communication and start sending when I need to send. That's something you don't do on a radio. You don't just say, this is me, and just start fucking spilling your guts. You need to wait for that guy to accept your transmission. That's what he's doing. When he's telling me to send my traffic, he's saying that he's ready to communicate and that I need to, fucking say what needs to be said. Those other two pro words, wait over, wait out. That's what he would say if he can't. If he's busy, he can say, Sergeant Margiotta, Sergeant Smith, wait out.
Got to
That's it.
change.
That transmission is ended. He outed the transmission, and he'll get back in touch with me when he's not busy. All right. So that's it for the pro words. Touch lightly on numbers. We don't use letters all too much here. So So the phonetic alphabet is not going to be used, but we do use phonetic numbers. We use numbers just like everybody else, 1 through 9, including 0. But there are 3 numbers that will sound a bit different in certain circumstances, especially when you are on the radio channel. So this one will be said like this. 3 will be said like tree. 5 will be said like fife, F-I-F-E. And last but not least, sure most of y'all can figure this out. 9 will be said like niner. So tree, fife, and 9. It does not mean every time you say those 3 numbers, you have to say them phonetically. If you're right next to your battle buddy and he can understand what you're saying, just tell him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You don't have to use phonetic. Now, an example of when you would want to use phonetic is, let's say you're a grenadier and your battle buddy is a rifleman. Rifleman carries an AT stick. Oh shit, fucking BTR pops up. That rifleman needs to take a shot on that BTR. Well, it's not his job to take a fucking range on that BTR. His job is to fucking get that stick on his shoulder, get it cocked, ready to rock. The grenadier is the one who's popping up with the fucking binos and getting a range. At that point, if tree 5 or 9 are in that range he's giving them, it should be used. That's when phonetic numbers should be used. You only get 2 AT sticks per squad, and a miss is fucking detrimental to a fucking squad. That means not only did that one stick miss, now the other stick's gonna have to probably be fucking used, and that fucking squad is out of AT. So don't leave nothing to assumption when taking an AT shot. Fucking use phonetic numbers. Don't give him a wrong range because he heard something different than what you said. All right. We're going to go over how to program your radio, but first off, we're going to get you a little familiarized with said radio. Everybody should have grabbed one. You're going to hit Control P, Control Papa, and that radio will pop up on your screen. Everybody there?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. All right. On a radio, very top, you're going to have a black dial in between a little silver and a long black one, your fucking antenna. That is your volume. If you have your mouse over the one with the off 1 and 2, you left click on it, your volume decreases, you right click, and your volume increases. Next, going down, the LCD screen on a radio. The C1 is the current channel, and the number next to that is the current frequency. Now, every time you get a new radio, you will have random frequencies generated on all of your channels. So you got 8 channels. Every channel is going to have a random frequency programmed, pre-programmed. It's nothing bad about that. Further down, you have the number pad on the radio. Does nothing. All the frequencies you type in, you need to use your number pad on your keyboard. Top right, you got the CLR button. That is to clear the current frequency. Right underneath that is the enter button. That is to set the frequency you type in. PRE, positive and negative, or plus or minus. That is how you change your current channel. So if you hit the plus side, you'll see you go from channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can just keep going until you go to 8, and then it just falls back to channel 1. And the complete opposite happens when you hit the negative button. It'll go to channel 8 and you can cycle it all the way back to channel 1. The bottom right, or the right facing arrow, just forget that's ever a part of the radio. That is what will change your output. So your headphones are defaulted right now to the radio, but if you press that right facing arrow, you will essentially broadcast through the speaker of the radio. If anybody's ever played with fucking two-way radios, you have a fucking speaker. You know, that shit's going through the speaker of the radio, and you get too close to somebody else with a fucking two-way, and it just starts fucking squawking and all kind of fucking shit. It happens here. It's loud as fuck with people with headphones, so don't make that mistake of transmitting or broadcasting through the speaker. Make sure it's on the headset. So if you don't press it, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Left facing arrow is going to be used to set an additional channel. That helps us with monitoring 2 frequencies at once. Radio, we have the ability to monitor and transmit on 2 separate frequencies. I'll show you how we can do that. Lastly, we have the 0 with the parentheses. That is stereo settings. When you get into a fire team and higher, you have to listen to 2 frequencies at once. No way around it. Now, when you have to listen to 2 frequencies at once, you need to be able to break up each frequency into one ear and the other frequency into the other ear. It will fucking drive you insane if you have to listen to both frequencies through both ears at the same time. It fucks with you. It makes it hard for you to understand, who's calling you, because you're hearing them through both ears. So if you take one frequency and have it transmitting just in your left ear and your other frequency transmitting in just your right ear, it will save you a millions amount of time and fucking headaches. Now, obviously we can't program because I haven't given y'all frequency yet. So I'm going to give you 3 frequencies that are going to be important just to OSUT. Once you get billeted, frequencies are going to change because squads have their own set frequencies. But here in OSUT, these 3 frequencies are what you need to use. First frequency is going to be squad frequency, squad net. That is 100. Squad net is 100. Squad net allows the squad leader, the squad medic, and the 2 fire team leaders all to communicate on that one frequency, period. The fire team leaders can talk to the squad medic if they need help, or the fire team leaders can talk to each other on that frequency, or they can talk to their squad leader. Next frequency is going to be 100.1. That is Alpha Fire Team. 100.1. Next is 100.2. That is Bravo Fire Team. 100.2. Fire team nets allow the fire team leader to talk to his 3 guys, his AR, Grenadier, and Rifleman, period. So right now, I want to show you how to program a fire team frequency in and the squad frequency in. I want you to learn how to program the radio as if you were going to be a fire team leader. Like I said, the only time you're going to have, or let me rephrase this, the only time you're going to monitor two separate frequencies is if you're in a fire team position, a fire team leader position or higher. If you are AR, Grenadier, or Rifleman, you will not monitor SquadNet and TeamNet. You will only monitor TeamNet. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I showed you just how to put in TeamNet. All right, so first thing we want to do is, got the radio up, we want to clear out that frequency. So right now we should have channel 1, the blinking cursor. We're going to put in frequency 100.1 and hit enter. So right now it's going to say channel 1 100.1 and the cursor should disappear. That happened for everybody?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. All right, so right now channel 1 has the frequency to Alpha Fire Team saved into it. Now we got to save or program squad frequency into the radio. The way we do that is we're going to go up to channel 2 and hit the plus on the number on the radio. We are going to clear out that random frequency again. And we are going to put in 100. We are going to hit enter. Now that is saved in the radio. Right here is where you would stop if you were a AR, Grenadier, or Rifleman. Channel 1, you would have your TeamNet. Channel 2, you would have SquadNet. Reason why you would want to have SquadNet at least programmed for there is if you need to step up. Now, the way we can now monitor this separate frequency is by hitting the left facing arrow. So you should be on channel 2 with frequency 100 on it. You hit the left facing arrow on the radio and it will change C2 to an A2. So now that is an alternate channel 2. Your primary channel is channel 1. That is a primary channel. A2 is an alternate channel. So it's like a sub channel. Or a slave channel, I guess you would say. Now, this is where we're going to break up the frequencies into different ears. Since we have it on channel 2 or alternate 2, you're going to double tap the stereo settings. You'll see in the very bottom, volume 80 or whatever you have it at, left and right. That's for your primary channel. And then you'll see additional, and it should say right only. After that's done, you have to go back to channel 1 because that is the primary channel. You can't leave it on A2 or your radio won't work properly. Make sure you go back to C1. And all you got to do is hit the parentheses once. Then you'll have your volume left only and additional right only. That happened for everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Was there a no in there? Or am I turning into Sergeant Smith and just wanting to hear those? All right. So that is it. That radio, or all of our radios, are now properly programmed. You can just hit escape. It'll disappear. You see myself like I was in that animation. All you got to do is just tap one of your movement keys real quick and he'll get out of that fucking animation. All right. So since channel 1 is TeamNet, if you need to broadcast on channel 1, you are going to hit the caps lock key. So if you hit the caps lock key, you should all hear me coming through in your left ear. If you need to transmit on your alternate or your secondary frequency, you will use the T or Tango key to transmit onto your alternate frequency, which happens to be squad frequency. Everybody get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. Now, believe it or not, we are too fast for Task Force Radio. When you go and you're transmitting on one frequency, let's say you've depressed caps lock and you're transmitting on TeamNet real quick, sending down information, and your actual call, so you hurry up and jump onto SquadNet to talk to him, you actually have to give Task Force a good hot second before you press the Tango key. If you jump straight from caps lock and you hurry up and hit Tango, you will continue transmitting on TeamNet. It'd be like if you never stop pressing caps lock, even though you've got Tango pressed. So give it a hot second before you initiate another, get onto another frequency. It still fucking happens to me. I've been doing this shit for a fucking while. All right, so a radio's a set. We don't just... Well, let me get this through before we go through radio checks. All right, we have call-in stations. The only people who are going to use their last names are the AR, Grenadier, and Rifleman. They use their last names. Your team leads have call-in stations. Their call-in station, if it's an Alpha fire team, their call-in station is Alpha. If team lead for Bravo fire team, his call-in station, Bravo. The squad leader's call-in station is Actual. If you're a fire team leader for Alpha, you don't have a last name at that point. You're just Alpha. Your 3 guys call you Alpha. Your squad leader calls you Alpha. You call to squad leader, hey, Actual, this is Alpha. Over. Your squad medic is just simply Mike. And that's call-in stations. All right. Now on to fucking radio checks. We don't just throw batteries in our shit, program them, and step off. Communication is too important to not check and just start a fucking patrol. I'm gonna say all 3 lines. Let's say the first line like 3 or 4 times so you can write it down. I'll say the second line like 3 or 4 times so you can write it down, and obviously the third line I'll say multiple times so you can write it down. The way I say it is the way it needs to be done in OSUT. I can't really control how it's done after you graduate, or if you graduate. That's up to your squad leader, but I can control it in OSUT. So the way I am going to say it to you today is how it needs to be said these next 3 or 4 days, however you fucking want to look at it. So the first line of a proper radio check is going to go just like this. I am going to throw Sergeant Smith and my name into it, but obviously this is me is a fill in a blank, and the frequency is going to be a fill in a blank. The 2 names and the frequency are going to be uh, the variable. So, example, but I actually am going through the first line. All right. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Radio check. Frequency 100.1. Over. Say it again. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Radio check. Frequency 100.1. Over. One more time. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Radio check. Frequency 100.1. Over. Does anybody need me to say that again?
No, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Alright, that's the first part. That is me asking for a radio check, the first part. The second part is going to be the response to my request for a radio check. That response will be coming from that person I am trying to contact, which this person happens to be Sergeant Smith. It's going to go just like this. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. I have you Lima Charlie or loud and clear on frequency 100.1 over. You can say either loud and clear, Lima Charlie, doesn't matter. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. I have you loud and clear on frequency 100.1 over. One more time. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. I have you loud and clear on frequency 100.1 over. Anybody need that said again?
No, sorry. Negative, Sergeant.
What was
No,
the
Sergeant.
Lima Charlie?
Alright, it's gonna be, I'll start it from the beginning on that second line. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith. I have you loud and clear on frequency 100.1 over. Got it?
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. And last but not least, the closing of that radio check is simply Sergeant Smith. This is Sergeant Margiotta. Roger, out. Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Roger, out. The first line's asking for a radio check. Second line is that person telling you how you're coming in. Don't lie to him. If he's coming in fucked up, tell him that he's coming in fucked up. Don't say you're loud and clear when he's like, 2x5, 3x5, whatever. Radios are key. They're important. And at the very end is you closing out that transmission. Everybody got it written down correctly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Fucking fantastic. Alright. Let's see. How do you... I don't want to fucking butcher your last name. Is it... Arsmith? How would you...
Arsenal, but you can say Arsenal. That's fine.
Alright. I would like you, Private, to do a radio check with Private Phrase. Once that is done, Private Phrase, do a radio check with Private Groat. And I'm sure you can see the fucking pattern that's forming here. And then at the end, we have Private Dash. I want you to do a radio check with myself, Sergeant Margiotta. All right, start it off, gentlemen.
On squad or?
Yeah, my bad. Team net. Let's do it on team.
Private Phrase, this is Private Arsenal, radio chat frequency 100.1, over.
Private Arsma, this is Private Phrase. I have you loud and clear on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Phrase, this is Private Arsenal, roger, and out.
Private Groat, this is Private Phrase. Radio check frequency 100.1, over.
Whoa. Whoa. Fucking Alvin. I know we had the fucking chipmunks with us today. Get your shit fixed. Private Phrase. Let's get Private Groat until he gets his shit fixed. Good, Private Palmer.
Private Palmer, this is Private Phrase. Radio check frequency 100.1, over.
Private Phrase, this is Private Palmer. I have you at Lima Charlie on 100.1, over.
Private Palmer, this is Private Phrase. Roger, out.
Alright, keep it going.
Private Dash, this is Private Palmer. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Palmer, this is Private Desk. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Dash, this is Private Palmer. Roger, out.
Sergeant Margiotta, this is Private Desk on radio check. Let me try again. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Private Desk, radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Dash, this is Sergeant Margiotta. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Sergeant Margiotta, this is Private Desk, roger, out.
Private Groat, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Radio check frequency 100.1, over. Yeah, that's not working. Alright. We don't have any more time for myself. We've already fucking like 45 minutes past what we should have done. So, good taking notes, good shit. Keep it up. I like the fucking responses. You're not leaving me hanging. Don't leave Sergeant Smith and Sergeant McCoy hanging when they ask if you got questions, comments, concerns. It's good shit, gentlemen. All right, Sergeant Smith. All yours, brother.
Thank you, Sergeant Margiotta.
Thank you for keeping that warm for me.
You're all welcome. Can everyone hear me?
Barely.
Barely.
What about barely now?
Better.
All right. Okay, so I think we're going over just the very basics. I want you guys to bring your attention to the slides and referencing what the type of weapons I'm talking about to at least get yourself a visual picture of what they look like. But these are just the very basics that we're going to go over. So don't expect me to go over very in detail on what they are. Remember, the same way you're supposed to ask a question or comment if you have any questions or comments. So let's go ahead and begin with the M4. And we'll go over to 302, oh, sorry, to 320 if need be. Can everyone see the M4 on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay. For some reason it's showing to 320. 1 second. That's the only one there is. There we go. Now that is M4. Alright. The M4 is basically a standard issued weapon given to basically the U.S. Army. If you're 11 Bravo infantryman, you're carrying the M4 mostly in most of those billets, except for unless you're the AR, you're carrying the 249. Now, the maximum, I'm trying to keep this very short for you guys so you guys at least have enough time to get out in the range. Now, the maximum engagement range on targets, well, on point targets is 500 meters. Make sure you write this down. And on an area target, 600 meters. So point target 100 meters, and then on an area target 600 meters, 600 meters. Any questions on that? Do we know what a point target is and the area target is?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
2,
I
3.
don't know what point.
Okay.
target is.
All right. So a point target is one individual unit. So such as a single person, you're engaging a single person. That's a point target. Now an area target is the area, basically. The word says for itself, the area is what you're engaging. So if, let's say you're engaging a full squad, and you're engaging the whole squad and the area around it. That's you're engaging the area target. Now, if you want to do a point target, then you're engaging a specific thing, which is if you're engaging specifically just a squad and not the area around the squad, then you're doing point target. Now, area target and point target all comes into stance and based on how far out the target is, along with point fire and area fire. Now, we'll always try to engage point fire and area fire in many cases. Usually, that all depends on the effective engagement range of our rifle, on our weapon system, and then that all comes together with point target and area target. Now, let's say the target is 600 meters away. We could use point fire to engage a specific target, but since the target is 600 meters away, he is now considered an area target because you're not going to be able to engage that specific target. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
I know it sounds a little confusing, but as long as you guys understand the difference between the two, then you should be able to soon be able to know how to apply those two in certain scenarios. Now, when I say 500 meters is effective engagement range, that means the lethality of the round, or the round will be as lethal as you would hope for it to be. Now, greater than 500 meters or 600 meters or more, you shouldn't expect your round to be as lethal as you would hope if it was 500 meters or less. You may be able to wound the person, but he's still able to fight and continue to engage you multiple times. In addition to that as well, that's where wind comes to effect at the most greatest deal, to the point where your round may not even hurt the person as much as it would hurt if he was 30 meters from you. So you won't expect your round to land where it's going to land at. You won't expect it to hurt as much as you want it to hurt. Is there understanding on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Any questions on M4?
No, Sergeant.
Then you have the 320, which is a grenade launch that could be either a standalone or attached configuration. And then you have the M203, which is the older brother of the 320. Now, both of them are 40mm grenade launchers, which features a forged aluminum rifle barrel, which allows any person to be able to accurately engage targets as far as 350 meters with various types of ammunition. So either smoke rounds. Actually, I might go over that real quick. Let me ask you guys that real quick. What various rounds of ammunition can we use for the 320 or 203? What for 40mm rounds can we use? Draw any guesses? What type of grenades are... There you go, smoke rounds. There we go. Thank you.
Flares.
Flares. There you go. Keep going. Your militia rounds. HE. Yes, keep going. Two more. So we said HE, we said smoke rounds, we said illumination rounds, which is flare rounds. We got two more.
AP.
AP, you said armor piercing rounds?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we don't have any armor piercing rounds for the 40mm grenades. But there is a variant you can use to engage. Let's say not. No, I'm not gonna use that per se, but we could use to engage targets. I'm sorry, not targets, but armor targets. There's a specific round we'll use.
Got IR rounds. Or,
The hunt IR rounds, no.
okay.
It's HE, and then you have 2 more letters after that. You can also use these same variant rounds for your rocket. They give some other. Sorry, say again, phrase.
HEDP.
There you go, HEDP, high explosive dual purpose. And now we have one more, which is what Private Palmer, I think, already said, a hot IR round. So you have HE, HEDP, hot IR rounds, smoke rounds, and elimination rounds. You all know what HE rounds are for, or what they use to engage. Usually use them to engage infantry. You got HEDP rounds to engage top trucks such as the BTR, BRDM, gun trucks. Then you have technicals, and then you have 2 transport vehicles. You can use those to engage those as well. Then you have the Hunter rounds. The Hunter rounds basically comes with a warhead, well, a camera mounted in the bottom of the warhead. So as soon as you launch the round up to the sky, as soon as it reaches the optimal altitude or terminal velocity, whichever term you want to use. Well, can't even get to terminal velocity. It has to be free falling. But once you get to the most highest altitude it needs to go to, the parachute deploys, and then basically that's the point where the Hunter round basically glides with the parachute to descend all the way down towards the ground. But what you can do is that if you have a Hunter monitor, you can actually connect to the terminal of the Hunter round and be able to see what's below that warhead. And that can give you a quick reconnaissance if you need to guys over a hill, over a compound, whatever it need to be. Now remember though, you can't direct where the wind goes, so that the round or the parachute will glide with the wind. So you got to make sure you compensate that and know where the wind is going, which you'll learn later on today. All right, any questions with that, with the Hunter rounds?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Negative, sir.
So don't be those very few people who sees a parachute in the sky, think it's an alien, and then at nighttime you're flashing your laser at it, trying to give it a little welcoming party towards the alien. It's not an alien, it's a parachute. And remember, some of us don't forget stuff. You will be made fun of that for the rest of your life, so don't be that guy. All right, and then lastly, you have the elimination rounds. If in the event of there's bad weather, and it's hard for us to see and low visibility for us to have, then we bring in elimination rounds. And sometimes it may be dark, pitch dark, or the point where there's no moon. And does anyone know what is needed for your NVGs to work?
Ambient light.
Ambient light. There you go. If there's no ambient light, then your NVGs won't work that well to your advantage. If you put a flare out, then you'll be able to see a little bit more perfectly. Now remember, you still have more of an advantage than the enemy because you're carrying NVGs. Even if he can see you, he can only see a little bit of you. Because what the NVGs allow you to do is see what's in the dark. So with that flare being up in the sky, you can hide behind the shade of a tree, because of course you can need shade with the flare up above you. But if the enemy is hiding behind a tree from that shade, you can still see him. Everything matches a little bit. Well, some places may be a little bit lighter than the other, but you can still see him. All right, any questions on all the rounds that went over?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay, now the 203, it has an engagement range of 250 meters. So 320, 350, and then you have 203, 250. I'm not saying that the round can't go further than that or can't hurt that much more further than that. I'm just saying that your best bet is up to 350 meters or less. And then for the 203, 250 meters or less. All right, the question for 320.
Oh, sorry.
Right. And then I forgot to say that the other distinguishment between the 203 and 320 is the sight pictures. A little bit different. One allows you to range up 350, another one allows you to range up 250, and the actual sight picture of it looks different. Okay, then we'll move on to M49 automatic rifle. Now, M49 automatic rifle is carried by 8 people. Well, let's say 8. Let's say 6 people in a whole platoon. And those are the AR. And you usually have 2 M249s in each squad, and 1 M249 per fire team. And AR carries this big bad weapon that we carry in the squad. And sometimes generally what we call as the SAW, squad automatic weapon. Now, M249 machine gun is a gas-operated, air-cooled, belt or magazine-fed automatic weapon that fires from the open bolt position. Now, something you want to get is that the M249 has maximum rate of fire of 850 rounds per minute. Now, if you want to do that math real quick, 850 rounds divided by 60 should roughly give you about, let's say, 20 rounds, roughly. Expect somebody to agree with me on there. Let's say 15 to 20 rounds. All right. So now that we know that within each second, 14 rounds will be released within each second. Just put that into context. I'm gonna continue on moving on. Now, ammunition feeds into the weapon from the 200 round or 100 round box containing disintegrating metallic split link belt. Now, in emergencies, the gunners can use 20 or 30 round standard magazines into the weapon system. Now, you guys remember I said that it is a belt or magazine fed, so you can actually put a magazine in there. Now, yes, that's worst case scenario. You're saying, "Oh, Star, guess what? Items I could use up all my ammo because I could actually carry 20 or 30 round standard magazines and load it up into the weapon system." Well, here's the downfall of it. Each person in the fire team, generally, the 3 other guys in your fire team should be carrying about 10 magazines, right? Now, you have a minimum of at least 1,000 rounds, okay? So you're carrying more rounds than the people in your fire team. Now, granted, yeah, of course, you got to do burst fire. That's 3 to 5 round burst. You have to generally have to do, which is puts you equivalent to with everybody else in with you and your fire team. But also, they carry even more than 1,000 rounds. That's the bare minimum is 1,000 rounds. You might be carrying 1,500 rounds or whatever else. You have more rounds than them, so there's no way you should be running out of magazines that quick. I mean, boxes that quick. Now, if the heat of the moment, to the point where we gain a lot of contacts, to the point where each person in your fire team is only down to 2 or 3 standard magazines, then there's not enough for them to give to you. Now, if they have enough and they give them to you, remember I told you there's 14 rounds every every second you're wasting if you just hold on the trigger to the rear and keep on releasing all those rounds. You put those standard magazines in there, you're gonna run out of ammo within 3 seconds. You think that's suitable enough for you if you're in the battlefield?
Negative, Sergeant.
No, it's not. Because if you're trying to clear out a building or if you're trying to engage enemies downrange, you gotta keep reloading every single time. Alright, any questions, M249?
Yes, Sergeant. What's the maximum range on it?
Yeah, I'll expect somebody to ask me that. Max effective engagement range on a target with the M249 is 800 rounds. I mean, 8 rounds. 800 meters. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Move on to M240 Bravo medium machine gun. M240 Bravo is a belt-fed, air-cooled, gas-operated, fully automatic machine gun that fires from an open bolt position. Now, unlike the M240 Bravo, M249, it is not magazine-fed, only belt-fed. Now, with the M240 Bravo, it is carried by the machine gun teams in the weapon squad. So you have to actually be in the weapon squad and actually be qualified to actually use M240 Bravo. In addition, the maximum engagement range on targets with M240 Bravo is 1,200 meters. Now, there's discrepancy saying that it's 1,000 meters out for you to engage targets, or effectively, and then you have an area target 1,200 meters, but there's a such thing as engaging point targets with the M240 Bravo. You're only engaging area targets in M240 Bravo. But there's some things you don't know that M240 Bravo is actually designed or actually looked out or sought out for to be used. The Army, or the Marines actually, first off, as what was actually looked for, but this weapon system was actually looked or sought out to be a weapon system that has an increased rate of fire, number one. Number two, a little more better of an accuracy, which more of a larger caliber. Now, the M240 Bravo has all of that. A chamber 7.62 rounds versus M249, which carries 5.56 rounds, or chamber 5.56 rounds. It can reach out 1,200 meters out to people, and has a little more of a better accuracy. Now, the M240 Bravo is not that accurate as M4. No way in the world will one round hit exactly where you expect it to hit 80% of the time. And we're going to say 80% of the time because there's no in a row because it's expected to hit 100% of the time with M4. But still, we wouldn't be expected to hit that. So with that said, without you knowing that's going to hit accurately on targets, you shouldn't be using this weapon system to engage targets accurately. You should be using it to engage a target and the area around the target. So if you're going to engage a single target or a single infantryman, you're going to put your weapon system right on the torso of the target, and then start engaging the whole area of the target, hoping that your recoil will climb up from the torso all the way up to the head, so at least one of your rounds will hit the target. Everyone understand that, correct?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let's say he has a battle buddy, a person right next to his shoulder, right on his shoulder next to him. Then you're gonna aim at the torso or the legs of the person on the left or right, whichever way you like to read, and then go left or right while engaging both targets at the same time, because you're putting 3 to 5 round burst out there, so you can engage 2 targets at one time, and one of those rounds will hit both of them. Well, yeah, 1 round will hit each of them. I should say it like that. Any questions for the Bravo? I don't want to go that much too in depth with it, as we are short on time. Any other questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
No, sorry.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the AT4, M136AT4. I forgot to follow along with these slides. I'm sorry. Be here. 4. There we go. AT4 is a lightweight, self-contained, shorter launch munition designed for use against the improved armor of light armored vehicles, such as vehicles that were developed post-Cold War. No, not post-Cold War, but towards the end of Cold War and post-Cold War. Those vehicles that I would like to describe mainly is your BMP-3, B-30 Alpha, those type of vehicles that were designed during that time. Now, the AT4 can easily penetrate those, and we're going to go over it during day 3 on what type of systems can use to engage certain targets and what AT4 can actually accurately engage on certain distances. But I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. The maximum engagement range on targets is 300 meters for the AT4. But in reality, though, the maximum range is 200 meters in real life. It can actually reach up to that far. Now, I'm not saying 300 meters is, greater than 100 meters, you won't expect your round to do that much. I'm just saying that, like I said, once again, that you're 100% guaranteed that the round will do some damage to a target to the point where it will make it no longer available or operational. That's the word I'm looking for. But basically disable a target that you're engaging, so any armor piece. Now, from my experience, I actually engaged a target 600 meters out. BMP 2 or 1, whichever it was, can't recollect my memory. But back in Blackadder, that's about 3 operations ago, I actually engaged a BMP 1 or 2, 600 meters out with an AT4. But granted, I was in an elevated position and I hit it from the top, so of course it will go catastrophic. But you can be lethal depending on certain distances, and as long as you're in an elevated position, gravity will do the rest and make the round impact even more. Any questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay, now it's older brother is the law, M72 law. We don't have a slide for that. The M72 law is carried by the other half of the riflemen in a platoon. So you got rifles in the platoon, one half carries the 84, and the other half carried M72 law. Now the law, maximum engagement range of targets is 250 meters. The sight picture of the law is different than the 84. And we generally will use the law to engage soft targets such as gun trucks, technicals, and troop transport vehicles. And generally want to use those to engage APCs, such as the BTR. And that's it. Any questions on that?
What was the range again?
For the 84 or the law?
The law.
The law is 250 meters.
Got it.
All right, cool.
Is it called just the law?
M72 law, yes. LAW. Mike 72 Lima Alpha Whiskey. All right, any questions?
No, sorry.
All right, cool.
Negative, Sergeant.
No slide for that, so guys just have to listen to what I'm saying here with no visual representation. All right, next we have is the M3 Carl Gustav or the Mark IV Mod O Mods. Now, both of them work the same way. Basically, you're going to fire at a target, and you're going to engage a target simply as that. Now, the Moz is the bigger, badder brother of the 84. With it being the bigger, badder brother, you actually can reload the Moz every time you launch a rocket. Now, I'm pretty sure I forgot to tell you guys this. With the 84 in the law, is non-reloadable. So, once you launch the rocket, it's done for. You drop it to the ground, no longer usable. And that's important to know, because if you decide to use this rocket to engage infantry, which you never are allowed to do, and should never expect to see any of you do it, but you will get your ass shoot if you do it. If you ever decide to do that, you're going to waste a rocket that was given to you to engage armored pieces. And as soon as an armored piece come up, such as a BMP, especially a BMP-3, which is the most scariest things you'll ever see, that comes up, starts engaging you, you got nothing to engage it with. All then you could do is hide behind cover and hope the cover can withstand the 30mm rounds that the BMP-3 has or the 100mm cannon that it has. So don't waste those rockets because those aren't reloadable. But moving on though, back to what I was saying, is the MOS. The MOS is carried by the anti-armor teams of the weapon squad. You actually have to get qualified to actually use this weapon system. Now it chambers a more of a bigger caliber than what the 8-4 actually chambers. And this weapon system is more deadlier than 8-4. It can reach out up to 1,000 meters to engage a target. And it can actually engage, hit, and kill a MBT. 8-4 in the law cannot do that. Unless you're within 50 meters. But you never want to use 8-4 in the law to engage the MBT. Just get away from the eyes of the MBT. Now to continue, the MOS is quite special, as what I mean by particularly the Mark IV MOS. It can actually chamber HE rounds, which will actually be using to engage infantry. So that's the only weapon system that you actually can use to engage ground troops. And this is what I like to call the handheld mortars, because when the weapon squad actually uses the weapon system and engage the infantry with it, when it hits the ground, you'll think it's a mortar round landed right on top of them, and it actually does great enough damage to take out a whole fire team or some of a squad when it lands right there. And some members of the unit have mistaken as mortars because how accurate it was and how much damage it dealt. Any questions with the MOS?
Those are.
Negative, Sergeant.
No,
Okay.
Sergeant.
Like it says, reloadable. Now, in addition to the MOS that's carried by the weapon squad, you also have the FGM 148 Javelin, which is the only close combat missile systems that we use in 506. Now, and what the weapon squad use. Now, the Javelin is what we like to call, or I like to call it, the fire and forget weapon system. Because all you got to do is put your reticle right on the target, wait for the lock, and once it's locked, you fire the weapon system, and then you forget about it. Because what's going to happen is that the round seeks the target, goes straight up into the sky, and goes right down into the target, which basically increases the force because gravity is now acting upon it. So the engine and gravity makes them over a bigger power to it when it hits the target from the top. And smush the target to it basically becomes one single paper, or cardboard, whatever you want to call it, or whatever term you want to use here. But basically annihilates any target that engaged to where the target is no longer used, and kills the infantry that's inside of the armored piece. That's effective the Javelin is. But let's continue though. Like I said, it's a fire forget, shoulder fired, man portable close combat missile system that consists of a reusable clue and a round that you'll always be able to reload onto the Javelin. Now the clue consists of 3 parts. Sorry, the Javelin consists of 3 parts: the clue, the missile, and the tube. Now the clue houses all the goodies that you could be able to do. So basically allows you to either lock onto a target, or you could just fire right from the sights that you see straight on towards the target instead of using the locking system. It gives full flare capabilities, allowing you to be able to see thermal targets. So you can either look for ground troops, you can look for a rabbit if you want to. You can look for a vehicle out down range, which means either any troop transport vehicles up to MBTs. And generally you will see weapon squad members who are carrying a Javelin have the whole Javelin on their back, but all these things come together. You can actually detach them and attach them together. They all come together as one piece in the Javelin in Arma 3. Sorry to break your immersion. But you'll see them with the tube on their shoulder, looking out through the clue for any targets. They're basically just scanning for anything out there. If they see troops, they'll call it up. If they see an armored target, they'll call it up and engage it. If it's an MBT or a BMP, if it's a BTR or a low-level BMP, then I'll let either, if they have a MOS, let the MOS engage it, or they'll call up TuneNet so that the rifle squads can use their rockets to engage those soft vehicles, or soft trucks, or I'll just say the lower level armored pieces. Now, mind you, or remember, I should say, that the 824 in the law is reloadable. I mean, it's non-reloadable. Now, in addition, the weapon squad, when they carry the MOS, they can only carry a total of 4 rounds. I said they carry the the regular Moss, their older one. They carried a new one, which is the Mark IV Moss. Then they carry 4 heat rounds and 1 HDP round. I'm sorry, 1 HE round. And that's just one fire. This is one team. The Moss is a crew service weapon, and along with Javelin, it's a crew service weapon. Now, if they have to engage all the MBTs out in the field, let's say there's 2 MBTs out there, and then some BMPs, and you decide to waste your rocket on ground troops, not that they have to waste your heavily powered weapon system to engage a BTR. That's a waste of a rocket right there. And then, let's say an MBT shows up out of nowhere, they don't have any more rockets to engage that. Yeah, see where I'm going there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And also, when they're carrying a Javelin, the missile team can only carry a total of 2 Javelin rockets. The gunner carries 1, his assistant gunner carries the other. He uses that to engage the MBT, but then if you guys waste your rocket on a BTR, 80 Alpha, I mean, you guys waste your rocket on, let's say, ground troops, like I said again, and now BTR Alpha comes out of nowhere, and you guys are stuck, and you can't do nothing because it's hosing you down, then have to use their rocket, their missile to engage BTR Alpha. Hopefully you see more where I'm trying to emphasize here. Don't waste your rocket on the most retarded stuff. Use it for what it's actually designed for. And what is it I want you to use it for? Can anyone shout it out?
Armor.
Thank you, Armor.
Light armor.
Thank you. And I'll show you guys specifically what you want you to engage with those 824 and what it can all engage and what you want to prioritize, what weapons you want to prioritize for specific targets. Alright, any questions with the shorter launch munitions I went over?
What's up?
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Private. Or, Marksman.
What's the range on the Javelin?
Alright, good question. Thank you for reminding me on that. It can engage targets up to 2,000 meters. But there's always things that come defective. Either you have your field of view, which is out of immersion. Field of view can affect that. Now, back in immersion, fog can affect your visibility. Trees can affect your visibility. A lot of things can affect your visibility on seeing targets up to 1,000 meters. Who else had a question? Private Dask? No, Private Palmer, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you. Last time I heard and seen there was a problem with the targeting system for the Javelin.
I don't know particularly about that. Some of the web squat. Sorry, Margietta. Was there a problem with the Javelin? It's probably not here. But when did you hear that?
It was I did a fill in for range day with 3-4, and they were going over the Javelin system with a couple of the soldiers there, and they could not lock onto certain targets. Like, it just wouldn't work.
Well, I can assure you that it'll get fixed soon, anyways. So I'm just giving you guys the very basics of what, in the perfect world, what you should be expecting with the Javelin.
Roger.
Yeah, there'll always be some stuff will be messed up, but it always will be fixed within a month. I would say shouldn't take that long. All right, with all those web systems that went over, let me go over something that's very crucial as well that you'll be using most of the time on your primary weapon system, which is either the M4, M249, for the Bravo, other stuff like that, and that is your optics. Now the first optic I'm going to go over is your rifle combat optic, or RCO, in other words known as. Now, particularly this RCO you see right now, generally what you'll see as a side picture of an ACOG, okay? Or it's a fun way of calling an ACOG, let's just say it's the RCO. But there's all the other RCOs that are out there as well that's not the ACOG. But particularly though, what you mainly be using is either M150 RCO or other variants of that has the 2D CCO mounted on top of it, and so on and so forth. Now, particularly though, this RCO here gives you drop compensation and range capabilities with it. Now, each line you'll see some numbers on them. Now, the lines I'm talking about are the ones with the chevron on it. Let's ignore those horizontal lines on the outside perimeter of that circle. I want you guys to look at the vertical line with the chevron on it. You all see that?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
3. I don't know if I missed anybody, if I didn't hear anyone else, but I'm assuming everyone's tracking so far. Okay, so you have those. All right. Now, first, I'm just going to give out some ranging, and then I'm going to put this in some stance. Now, the tip of the chevron is what you're going to use to engage targets up to 100 meters out. The center of that chevron, what I mean by center as in the middle point or the midpoint of the tip and the bottom of that chevron. That center, that midpoint is 200 meters. And then the bottom of that chevron, you engage targets up 300 meters. And then you have the line with the 4 on it. That's what you engage targets up to 400 meters. And then so on and so forth. You guys should understand the trend going on now. That line below the 4 is 5. That's 400 meters out. Then the line below that has 600 meters out. And so on and so forth. We all understand that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay,
Yes,
Private
sir.
Growth still having problems there. Alright. Where was I? Oh yeah. Alright. Now we could use this. If you guys notice, the lines get smaller the lower the line goes, correct?
Correct.
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. Now that said, let me put this in some of you outside of more of a civilian terms. But let's say this here. Who in here traveled in an airplane or who have been in high elevation? Anyone in here has been in high elevation or traveled in an airplane or whatever else like that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, I'm assuming some of us have. Okay, you notice how some of you look down the window and notice that people below look smaller, or people far away look a little bit smaller, like ants, correct?
Correct.
Yes, Sergeant.
All right, so let's use an analogy here, and we could probably somewhat compare that to the optic, how those horizontal lines with the numbers next to them get smaller the lower they get, or the further the range is, or the bigger the range is, which means the further it is out. Okay. Now, outside of civilian terms, what is the average width of a military male, of the shoulders, should say? Anyone know what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's one less than 20.
19.
19. There we go. 19. All right. 19 inches is the average width, average shoulder width of a military male. Now, each of these lines correspond not those 19 inches based on the distance of the target. So the target's 800 meters out, then it corresponds 19 inches 800 meters out. So it'll be a little bit smaller. So each of these lines are able to correspond that, which means if you try to rest those horizontal lines on a target, and if it fits the shoulder width of that target, then that's how far out the target is. Let's play a little example of it. If I try to rest the 600 meter line on the shoulder width of a target, and I realize that that line exceeds the shoulders of the target, or the shoulders width of the target is smaller than that line, that means the target's a little bit further away. So I'm going to raise the optic a little bit higher. Rest it on the 800 meter line, I realize that the shoulder's a little bit too big of the horizontal line. So I lowered it a little bit. What's between 600 meters, 800 meters, gentlemen? What's the midpoint of those two?
700 meters.
700 meters. So I use 700 meter line, and I realized that it somewhat exactly fits. It doesn't exactly fit, but somewhat fits. 700 meter line. So I'm gonna assume, okay, he's within 700 meters out. And then if the line's a little bit smaller, then he's 600 meters out. Maybe 690. If the line's a bit bigger, 700 meters, 710, whatever. But that's a little bit advanced. But you should know that at least within 700 meters out, and you can somewhat engage the target from that distance. Granted, we generally don't engage targets 700 meters out because that's just a waste of ammo, because the rounds may not land exactly where we want them to land, and the lethality of the round may not not hurt as much as we need it to do to stop the target. But at least you have the information to know when you're engaging a target. Everyone understand on that, correct?
Yes, Sergeant.
So we all know how to engage, I'm not engage, but range out to a target without pulling out our binos, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, good. Now we're going to move on to something else. I want you guys to keep in mind that this is something good for you to know, and it's good for you to use the RCO, and the MGO gives you the same way. I mean, it allows you to be able to do the same thing, except it's no longer, as you see these lines intersect, instead of there being an intersection, is actually an opening, but you'll notice that when you grab the MGO and you try to range out, you'll see that it still does the same thing. Either those horizontal lines touch shoulders, then you know exactly the width. If it exceeds the shoulders and goes inside towards the torso, then the target's a little bit further away. I mean, a little bit closer there and that, but it's now enough time to explain what I usually would do for you guys to understand about the MGO. But you know what I'm saying, though. that it's best for you to use these because if you're actually being engaged by a target, but you don't realize your round's not actually hitting the target, and you realize that you're probably not ranging correctly, so put out your binos while target's still engaging you, you can just use that range capability on in the optic and get the range out to a target. Is that much better than getting shot at? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Probably saying, well, how if I'm trying to still get a range? Well, you can suppress target while you're trying to get the range out. At least keep his head down. All right. Let's move on to the CCO, close combat optic. Generally use CCO in terms of any close range combat, such as if we're going to clear out a town. No CCO in here, so oh well. If you're going to clear out a town, or if we're going to, if you realize what the op order details that we're doing a lot of close range combat, then you'll carry the CCO. Sometimes, though, if the op order says we're doing mount and we're clearing out a town, or we're doing close combat combat out there, well, then you realize, wait, but there's a lot of hills out there, so that might be a strategic fighting point or fighting area that the enemy may engage us from. Because of course, it's mountaintops, they're able to engage us from the hill and peek back down from depth load or a lot of trees. You might say, well, I want to carry an RCO for those long range combat that may happen, but I need also a close combat optic to engage targets that's within 100 meters or less. Well, then you could use that RCO that has the mounted CCO on top of it. You could use those too. There's a lot of ways you guys can use to help yourself or give yourself a more of a tactical advantage. Now be mindful though that you can't carry two optics at once. You can only carry one optic, so pick one or the other. Me, I carry the RCO. I don't carry no CCO mount on top of it. I just use my laser as a somewhat of a guidance for me when engaging targets. All right. Any questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
So you're saying you can't carry one in your bag and use
Yep.
one?
You cannot carry one in your bag and then one that's already on your optic. You only carry one. Private phrase.
I hate to derail to an off-topic thing, but can we get 2 minutes for a bathroom break?
Yep, I'm about to go to that right now. Soon, once I go over some of the topics. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
All right. And then you have the MGO, which is right here. The MGO is a machine gun optic used particularly for the SAW or the M240 Bravo. And if you guys remember what I said about the SAW is the M249. Any questions on that?
Negative, Sergeant.
All right. Take your 2 minute break. Make it quick. Once you're back, go ahead and type A or Alpha in chat for me, so I can know that you're accounted for. All right. Everyone understand me on that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
2 minutes starts now.
Grody, go ahead and restart your TeamSpeak. Close it, reopen it, and rejoin the channel. Hopefully that'll fix it.
Does it sound better now?
There he is.
There we go. Now we know the baby growth is good. Oh God. Are y'all back?
Race is back.
Private Dasky here.
Sergeant.
Private Arseman.
Palmer's back, sir.
I'm back, but I forgot how to type in there.
Alright, so we're all here. Great. Okay. So some very last things we need to go over, and then we should be done. We can finally move on to the classroom portion. And I'm sorry, guys, I've been zipping through some of these very fast. Just that we're very short in time. Alright, we move on to grenades. Get the slide on this. Go. Alright. So you have the grenades. Now the handheld grenades, or hand grenades, is a handheld, hand-armed, and hand-thrown weapons that we can use to our advantage. Now, we use these both in lethal and non-lethal. We use both lethal and non-lethal grenades, as well as colored and white smokes for screening movements, signaling purposes, and marking our positions as well as landing zones. Now, an average soldier can throw the grenades up to 35 meters, and you could do this in Arma 3. So therefore, these are designed to have a small blast radius and refuse to have 3 to 5 second delay, so that you guys have enough time to safely run away, is what I like to say, from the grenade. Any questions? Good. Now we'll move on to M7 fragmentation grenade. Now, this is a type of grenade consisting of a pre-fragmented steel body filled with 6.5 ounces of composition B explosive. Now that's within the body of the grenade. Now then you have the fuse of the grenade, pin of the grenade, and the spoon. All those at the top of the grenade, as you can see on the slide right in front of you. Now I'm not going to detail to you how you're supposed to deploy a grenade and pull out pull the fuse, stuff like that, all that stuff, and throw it. I'm just going to show it to you where these parts are at, because you don't really need to know that in the game, as I don't want to waste any of your time, as we are short on time, as I said before. Alright, any questions?
No, Sergeant.
Okay, great. Now, the killing radius of the M67 fragmentation grenade is 15 meters, and has a fragmentation dispersal radius of 230 meters. Any questions on that?
No, Sergeant.
Okay. Now you have the M84. We have the slide for this. M84 flashbang stun grenade. And M84 is a diversion device used for building and room clearing operations. It is employed when non-combatants are likely or expected an assaulting element, which is anyone that's clearing out a building. Generally, sometimes assaulting elements aren't clearing out buildings. Can be supporting elements as well, trying to achieve the element surprise. Now, hear me out on this. At any time, even if the enemy hears us, we can still achieve the element surprise. If there's gunshots going off and they know we're in the town, they don't know the exact second, they don't know where, they don't even know if we're going to breach the building that they're in. So we always want to keep and uphold the element surprise. That means if you see an enemy combatant in that room and they don't see you, you throw that flashbang in there to temporarily disable them, which is what the flashbang does. It temporarily disables them, it blinds them, and it temporarily disorientates them and deafens them for up to 15 seconds. That gives you 15 seconds more to actively engage a target and take them down while clearing out the room. Is everyone saying on that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, now here's something that's downfall of the flashbang. Even though it's so good to use when in terms of clearing out rooms and things of that nature, the flashbang is not really effective against AI. Now I'm not talking about AI being controlled by Zeus operators. I'm talking about actual AI. With the flashbang grenade is not thrown right in the cone of vision of the enemy combatant, or like once again the AI, then the grenade won't do shit against the AI. He won't be blinded. He won't look down towards the ground, drop his weapon, and cover his eyes. He'll actually be ready to shoot you. So the AI won't know you're there yet, but as soon as you breach in a room, they'll start shooting at you. If he is disabled, then of course he's kneeling down on the ground, like Nick Kaepernick, we're gonna call that person's name. Forgot who it was. And his gun's faced towards the ground, and his hands are basically blinding his eyes. That's when you know he's disabled. But you'll never know he's disabled unless you want to get shot at. So what I'm telling you here is that when you after you throw the flashbang in the room, you going in there. You're gonna go in there as if you didn't throw the flashbang in there. You're gonna go in there ready to engage any targets in there. Is everyone understand on that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, now the other downfall to that as well is that if you throw a flashbang, sometimes it'll disable you even if you're not looking at the grenade. So if you throw a flashbang behind you and you turn away around, quick second, try to think you could not get yourself flashed, you can still get flashed. If you're hiding on the adjacent side of the wall, let's say this is the wall, and I throw the grenade into the room and to bounce another wall into the other room that's adjacent to me or adjacent to the wall I'm on, then if the grenade explodes somewhere near the wall that I'm adjacent to, it can still flash me as well, even if the grenade is not in my room or in the vicinity of me. So grenades can do more of a bigger effect on us than on the enemy. Now, when Zeus operators are Zeusing and the grenades are thrown, flashbang grenades are thrown, they will act as if they're blinded. But if they're not being Zeus operated or controlled by Zeus, then you're not disoriented. So always throw flashbangs, but always go in there assuming that they're not blinded. All right, let's move on to the. And you don't want to carry the blue bandit flashbangs. You want to carry the white bandit flashbangs. Okay. And you can tell the white bandit by looking at the picture of them when you go on Arsenal. They'll show you whether or not they're white bandit or blue bandit. All right, moving on to the smoke grenades. Now you have. When I go over these smoke grenades, I'm going to go over what they do and or the signaling purpose of them. So what they signal. All right, first is yellow and white smoke. Yellow and white smoke but used for concealment. You're going to throw that if you need to conceal yourself. So if you're bandaging and you're out in the open, you can pop the yellow smoke. If there's a downed man out in the open and you want to go retrieve them because you think you're safe to grab them while that smoke's thrown, then you can throw the smoke, grab them, and pull them behind cover. If you need to fall back, you can pop smoke right on your position, then fall back versus throwing the smoke and then falling back. But I'll go over that on a later day when we have time. I'll go over that day too. Remind me that, guys. When I go over bounding, remind me, or when I go over what to do when getting engaged by an enemy, please remind me to go over what to do in terms of throwing smoke when falling back or moving towards the enemy. You guys do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, and then so we're gonna move on. Next portion. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out something. All right, what was the next portion? I was at? Oh yeah, so that's what you use for the yellow smoke, concealing yourself. And do we know the difference between concealment and cover?
Concealment just hides you from enemy sight. Cover actually protects you from enemy fire.
There you go. Concealment blinds the enemy from seeing you, but an enemy can still spray through that concealment and engage you. Cover stops bullets. Just that. Covers you. I'll say conceal you and cover you at the same time, but not to confuse anybody. It blinds the enemy from seeing you, and it stops bullets. So it could be man-made cover or natural cover. Alright. Now, moving on. From yellow and white smoke, we got blue smoke. Blue smoke's meant to mark a broken chain of command. That means that if someone in higher leadership is down, you can pop that blue smoke to mark that position. And if for some reason your radio comp's not working, you also will toss it still. That we can, when we see that blue smoke, we know, okay, someone in higher leadership is down, and they're down in that position. So, call it up. Hey, 3-7 is down, the 3-6 down, 1-6 is down, 1-7, whatever, so on. Someone in platoon leadership is down or higher, and in blue smoke, I'm popping this blue smoke to show you where he's at. And the reason why you're popping blue smoke, you're probably saying, why can't we just use green smoke, which marks friendly position? Why can't we use green smoke or any other smoke? Well, blue smoke will specifically is designated to say, well, it's designated for broken chain of command. And if a lot of people are popping yellow smoke because there's a lot of gunfire and they're trying to conceal themselves, it's hard to figure out which yellow smoke are you talking about. Because you're saying, hey, someone in leadership is down on this yellow smoke that I'm on, then I really don't know that. I can't figure out what yellow smoke you're talking about. Everyone understand what I'm saying there?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, and then moving on. Where are we at? Smoke. Then you have green smoke. Green smoke is meant to mark friendly location. Also can mark LZ points. So where any landing zones are at, they'll pop the green smoke on that position. Now, all people who can actually mark a landing zone who actually pop the green smoke on that landing zone will be TAC P/Dagger. They're the ones who actually call out where the landing zone is at, and they're the ones who actually throw the green smoke to say this is where the landing zone is at. But everyone carries green smoke to mark their position. Now, generally when we say throw green smoke, sometimes we're doing a danger close gun run and we need our air assets to know this is where friendlies are at. So if we tell you to pop green smoke and hold put, you want to hold put. Because you don't want to get yourself mowed down by a bunch of HE rounds, to the point where you're no longer effective and probably dead from that gun run. So when we told you to stay put and stay near that green smoke, then do so. Everyone understand on that, correct?
Yes, Sergeant.
Sometimes we use the green smoke as well as a rallying front or a rallying purpose. If we need elements to rally to a certain area, we'll pop the green smoke and tell them to rally at this green smoke. Okay, moving on is orange smoke. Orange smoke is meant to mark explosives that have been set in a certain area or explosives that have been found in a certain area. So if we see any IEDs, any claymores, or anything else endangerment of us, we'll pop a orange smoke in that position. Now also, if we set demo, which is team leaders carry a demolition block, if you put a demolition block in a certain area and you set det on that certain position, then you'll pop the orange smoke on that position and you'll put red spray paint on that position as well. Now we'll tell you how to do, you'll learn that, I should say, outside of OSUT. When you get into your building and become a team leader, you'll know all that stuff. But use orange smoke to mark a det or explosive that has been set in a certain area. Everyone understand on that? Any questions?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay, and then lastly, you have purpose smoke. Purpose smoke is meant to mark a mass cast or a mass cast collection point. Thus, what the purpose smoke marks, and all people who actually carry the purpose smoke is medics, because medics are almost to actually signify or dignify what is a mass cast. Now, you never want to call it mass cast over the radio unless you hear the medic say that this is a mass cast, then you call it mass cast. Everyone understand on that, correct?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes,
Okay.
Sergeant.
Now, when you see purpose smoke has been popped in a certain area, then you want to establish security on that certain area if that is in relation to your squad. If it's not in relation to your squad, then you want to stay away from that mass cast unless you were told by your squad leader to go over there and assist them and provide security on that position. That's your. However, though, if that mass cast is your squad, then you provide security around that mass cast. Now, generally, you want to do within 15 meters to 35 meters of distance from the medic, so he give himself enough breathing room and a better perimeter. As if, as soon as you guys get engaged, he could stop bandaging the wounded and then start engaging targets, so that his life won't be in impairment to bandaging up the guy that's below him. So if he gets down, then there's no one to bandage the guy that he's trying to get back up, and everyone else is down, so you got no medical person that can actually do medical treatment. Any questions on these smokes?
No, Sergeant.
Okay, and then lastly, you have rates of fire. You have 3 rates of fire. You have cyclic, rapid, and you have standard effective, rapid, and cyclic. Now, for standard effective firing, you're going to do 1 round every 2 to 3 seconds. So you're going to pull the trigger to release 1 round every 2 to 3 seconds. Then you have rapid. Rapid, you're going to do double taps. So generally, you're going to basically double your rate of fire. So you're going to do 2 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. You're going to shoot 2 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. Then, for cyclic, you're going to once again double rate of fire. You're going to do 3 to 5 round burst every 2 to 3 seconds. And what's the best way to do 3 to 5 round burst? Is to switch to your automatic firing mode. Does everyone know what automatic firing mode is?
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, great.
Yes, Sergeant.
Automatic firing mode is basically you're able to release multiple rounds until the chamber is empty, or magazine's empty, I should say. And then for semi-automatic, only 1 round will release every time you pull and hold on to trigger. Once again, semi-automatic is when you pull and hold on to trigger, only 1 round release. Automatic is if you pull and hold on to trigger, all the rounds release until the magazine is empty or belt is empty. That's automatic firing mode. So switch to automatic firing mode by pressing your Foxtrot key, or we like to call the fun key, and then you release 3 to 5 round burst. Now, generally, if you want to try to figure out how when are you release 3 to 5 round burst, a good phrase to use is "die, motherfucker, die." Now, generally, you want to say this in your head, so someone won't think you're psychopaths, and you won't create friends in the unit if you say that every single time. But that's a good way for you to say in your head, so you can know how many rounds you're releasing, so you can effectively manage the amount of rounds you have without going black within the first 50 seconds of the mission. Everyone understand on that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, and then if you're an AR, or a machine gun, I should say, then your rates of fire are a little bit different. You're always going to do 3 to 5 round bursts, no matter what. But if you're doing standard effective firing mode, then you're going to do 3 to 5 round bursts every 2 to 3 seconds. If you're doing rapid rate of fire, then you're going to do 6 to 10 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. And then if you're doing cyclic, you're gonna do a 12 to 20 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. Everyone the same on that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, sometimes targets get a little bit too close. You might have to decrease the amount of time between the rates of fire. I mean, between each burst, but you'll get the purpose soon. Now we do this to effectively conserve your ammo. Number one, and number two, we do this because we want to put rounds down range effectively. So if we do same effective rounds and we do same effective rate of fire, we want you guys to engage targets effectively. Okay. Any questions with the rates of fire went over? No. Good. Go ahead.
I was trying to write down. You said it was standard, effective, rapid, and cyclic?
So yep, sustain or effective, sustain / effective. Then you have rapid, and then you have cyclic. SYCLIC.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep, you're welcome. All right. And then lastly, you always want to call out that you're reloading. So if you're out of ammo and you're gonna reload, you're gonna call out reload so we can know that you're not dead or you're down. You're just reloading. That we don't have to worry about wasting our time looking towards you. All right. Any questions on everything I went over within those 30 minutes that I had?
Negative.
No, Sergeant.
All right, great. Now we're gonna have Sergeant McCoy take you guys out to get yourself kitted out into your rifleman gear. They're gonna take you guys out to the range to know how to throw those grenades and what ways how to use those grenades and what pro words to use. They're gonna go over how to use your rockets. With all that said, gentlemen, on your feet. To get on your feet, you're gonna scroll stand up, and then you're gonna follow Sergeant McCoy in an orderly fashion. There you go.
We are short on time. Fine. All right, everyone over here. All right. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, everybody's gonna grab a rifleman loadout with the AT4. Once you have that loadout, you're gonna go to this second box, grab a set of Vector 2-1 Night binoculars and a new radio. Make it happen. Once you have all that, you're gonna line up in front of the sign here. That's to our southwest. Yes.
Can't even hear me.
Make sure your weapons are condition 4 this time.
Of course, you can hear me the whole time, but anyways, can you expect yourself to your voice to get hoarse and your throat to hurt after 30 minutes talking?
After 30 minutes? No.
I know for you, within like 5 minutes of seeing with another guy, of course your throat will get hoarse, but
Don't
it's the first
smoke
time it ever
cigarettes.
happened. Oh, yeah, I'll never smoke.
You said a Vector Knight and a radio. That was it.
That is
right?
correct. Vector 2-1 Night and a radio. Remove any magazine from your weapon. There you go. Good job. We have 4. Where is 5? What is going on over here?
Didn't hear which weapon.
You're loading your rifleman loadout that you made in recruit class.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
Say a sergeant. And then you're going to this box. And you're grabbing a set of Vector 2-1 Night and a new radio. Let's go.
One second, Sergeant. Forgot my iPro.
Oh, good catch. Make sure you guys are all gonna make sure you have earplugs as well. You should all have a set of earplugs.
If you're wondering how to, put your earplugs in, you're gonna do control windows, equipment, and then earplugs in.
Okay, that is an automatic rifleman loadout. Did I say automatic rifleman? Didn't think so. Look at everyone else. Regular rifleman. Regular
One with the
rifleman
rocket.
AT4.
Confused?
Okay, that is definitely not
The
a
pilot.
rifleman loadout.
That
That is
means
some
that he-
pilot bullshit. What the fuck is going on right now? Do you not have a rifleman loadout?
Have rifleman loadout, right? Yes, Sergeant.
So go ahead and load that one. Regular rifleman. There it is.
There you
Not
go.
that difficult, right? Alright, now quickly
Sergeant.
go to this box, get Vector 2-1 Knights and a new radio. Remove those NVGs from your fucking helmet, put them in your backpack, and remove the magazine from your weapon. Let's get this show on the fucking road. Alright, well, it's good enough. I can't wait any longer. Gonna lower that weapon for me, Private? Instead of just pointing at my balls. Let's go.
I forgot how to lower it.
Double hit left control.
Dale,
No problem. All right,
what,
let's.
to what do we owe the pleasure?
No problem. Let's get over here, Joe.
Okay. Alright. Everyone take an indentation along the line here. Just fill it up. You can go down one over there, that's fine. Alright, can everyone hear me?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Can you hear me down there on the right?
Yes,
Probably just private A for now. Okay, good. All right, so I need you guys to speak up and tell me right now. Does anyone here not remember or did not change their throw keybind during recruit class? Speak up right now if you do not remember or are unsure or you know you did not.
I unbinded it like I was told, but I'm not sure how the throw system works.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That means we can go over it anyway. Thank you for saying something. All right, so everyone hit escape, go to configure, and then controls. Under weapons, weapon drop down, you're looking for throw. Make sure that that keybind is deleted. By default, it is the G or golf key. Delete that shit immediately. Click OK, click OK, and then you're done. Let me know when everyone here has done that.
Done.
Yes, Sergeant.
Done, Sergeant. Sergeant.
Okay, that is 5. Excellent. Your new throw key, hit escape, configure, controls. At the bottom right, you'll see configure add-ons. Click on that. And now in there, you're looking for ace weapons on the drop down. In that list, you're looking for prepare/change throwable. Should be shift plus golf or G to begin with. By default, you may change that to whatever you want your new throw key to be. Just know that that is now your throw key. Sound off when you're done with that.
Done.
Done, Sergeant. Done, Sergeant.
All right, there we go. So I should expect no bad frags on this course. Is that correct?
Right.
All right.
Correct.
Everybody, put in your earplugs. Left control windows, hold them down. Equipment, earplugs in. All right, we're going to go over the use of fragmentation grenades. Fragmentation grenades have 3 basic
when I got
commands
class at
or
8
pro
o'clock in the
words
morning.
depending on the situation. First, we have frag out. Frag out denotes that you are throwing an enemy or throwing a friendly frag onto enemy positions. If you, anytime
go
you
to
hear
bed
any
early.
of these pro words called,
Draft is-
you are to echo it. So if you're within earshot of someone calling frag out,
Sucks.
you need to yell it so that everyone around you knows that there's an outbound frag grenade. So what do you guys say if I yell frag out?
Frag out.
Frag out.
There you go. All right, this next one is just frag, or simply frag. That is to denote the enemy has thrown a frag onto our position, and we need to displace. So the call for that is simply frag. Again, you're going to echo that, sprint for 2 or 3 seconds, and then stick your dick in the dirt with your feet facing the explosive area. You don't want to have your head pointed towards,
You guys are scary,
the
like,
base of the explosion.
or you guys just...
Basically, that's how that goes. So we have frag out, and we have frag. Lastly, we have bad frag. Bad frag is to indicate that you attempted to throw a frag grenade, but you fucked
Let
up.
me chicken
And you drop it,
sandwich
and
that
it's
I'm
gonna
ready to
cause
eat.
friendly casualties
Finish.
or injury to friendly forces. You need to call out bad frag. You need to own that shit so you can save as many
cinnamon
people
roll.
as possible and prevent yourself from getting accused of some blue-on-blue
Salad
shit. So
salad sandwich and a
remember that.
cinnamon
It's
roll.
very important. If you by
And apple
chance
juice.
fuck up, it's going to happen at one point. You need to call bad frag. All right, any questions or anything up to this point?
No, Sergeant.
All right, real quick. Starting from left to right.
We
I'm just
were
gonna toss
on
a
left
frag
like
grenade. Everyone's
a
gonna
whole
yell frag
hour,
out.
30 minutes
And,
for me to
let's
talk,
see,
and
make this
then
happen. We're gonna go real fast.
boys only
So,
got
who's
like
down
45
here on the
minutes.
left?
Well, not 45 minutes, but like
Private
15 minutes
Das.
to talk. Finish up his
Start
section.
her off. Make sure you use the 6 key to select a frag grenade. Frag out.
Frag out.
He already
Hit the
throwing
deck.
his frag?
All right.
Boy, it was like a
yell
middle of
frag out
construction.
before you throw it. So yell frag out, wait a second to hear it, and then throw it. And after you throw it, hit the deck. All right. Go Palmer, go.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Well, he still didn't wait for a quick second, but
All right, remember that part about getting down, Palmer? Probably do that next time. There you go. All right, Grody, go.
Alright, let's see if it runs in the family.
Frag out.
Frag out.
It does not run in the family.
Recover. Private phrase, go.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Well, that was
Oh,
a
nice.
good try, though. All right, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Good smoke to mark that position.
Private Arsamon, go.
It was amazing smoke. Matter of fact.
Remember to say it first. I was also Flash. All right, well, we got 3 out of 5. Just remember to say
That is
frag
funny.
out, take a pause, and then throw it. Don't rush it, because when you rush it, that's how you get bad frags. That's how bad frags turn into NJPs. All right, let's not fuck that up anymore. Now, leading into this, you see the smoke. If you hit left shift plus K or kilo, you'll see a wind
What a
speed
perfect
indicator.
demonstration
It's gonna
for
show you
start
where the
recording.
wind is gonna
Right
carry
there in
that
front of
smoke.
you.
So, just by fucking stroke of luck, that green smoke was perfectly concealing that heavy machine gun nest. So, I want to say good job, but not really. All right, any questions on frag grenade implementation, smoke, etc.? And we gotta brush this quick. We only got like 5 fucking minutes left.
No, Sergeant.
All right, well, on your feet. Let's go AT range. Let's go.
I don't know why I'm lagging, but
All right, line it up on the sandbags here. Let's keep it close for now so y'all can hear me. All right, so we're going over 2 different jobs here. First, we have the range, the spotter. The guy gets the range. Then we have the rocket operator. All right, it's usually obviously going to be the rifleman and his battle buddy, usually the grenadier. All right, so here's how this works. So you hit Bravo to bring out your binoculars. You all have a set of binoculars. Now you're going to right-click to look down those binoculars. It's pretty easy so far. Now, to get the bearing of a target in your center reticle, you're going to hit Tab. Or hold Tab until the bearing comes up. To get the range, you're going to hold down R or Romeo until you see a red circle and then release it. You can get both at the same time by simultaneously hitting Tab and Romeo and releasing both at the red circle. That way you can see the bearing and range on your optic and keep them up there the whole time so you don't have to hit a bunch of buttons. This is the basic information that they need to relay to the weapon operator. So for this example, you only need to call out armor for today because we will go over IDing different armor types on day 3. But in this case, since I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to say, hey, hey, we have a BMP-2 bearing 261, range 117. Now, the guy shooting the rocket is going to read that back. He's going to say, Roger, BMP-2 bearing 261, range 117. AT prepped. As he's saying AT prepped, he has the rocket on his shoulder. He's pushing Romeo to unlock the safety, and he is ranging that target. We'll go over that in a second. But that is the basic idea of starting this off. Once he engages the target, you're going to let him know if he hit or miss. And if he hit, what kind of battle damage assessment or BDA is it? Is it 100 over 100? Are there dismounts? As soon as that rocket is fired, you need to be pulling your primary weapon back up and being ready to engage any dismounts, assuming it is a hit. All right, any questions about spotting the target?
I do.
Send it.
Regarding the BDA 100 over 100 thing, is there a time we give a different number than that, or is that just to say absolute?
Yes, it's kind of, so 100 over 100 is that shit is like catastrophic cooking off. You can possibly, depending on where you hit it, depending on how thick the armor is, you may only disable it. You could just disable the turret, but it's still mobile. It'd be like 50 over 100.
I would say 80 on
Right?
it.
75. The vehicle still could be operable, but the crew will dismount, and that's like a 75, 80 over 100, right? So it varies quite a bit. You could just take out the treads, and then the weapon system's still active. That's like 30 or less, because it can still actively engage you. So you got to figure out what the threat levels are, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. That'll just come with time and experience. The important part is the fundamentals, the basic 3Ds, distance, direction, and description, and just observing and protecting how to properly relay that information. All right.
Sorry, piggybacking off that.
Yeah.
So if I say 30 over 100, is that a less or more damaged vehicle?
That is less. 100 over 100 is absolute destruction.
Okay.
1 over 100 is maybe you tickle its balls a little bit, but it likes you less still. You didn't do a good job at tickling its balls.
It's a fraction.
Yeah, think of it as a fraction. Thank you.
I was
right.
trying to.
All right, it's fine. Private A, you got a question?
He answered it.
Roger. All right. So that's pretty much covers it for the spotter. Next, you're going to push the 3 key to bring out that rocket. All right?
Doing all right.
So once you get that call out for the target, in this case, it was... All right. So the call out here, once you hear the target, you're going to read back what he says. Armor 261 117 AT prepped. Next, you're going to call for backblast clear. That indicates to the spotter to look behind you to make sure that there is no one standing directly or in your immediate surrounding area behind the rocket, so they don't get hit by the backblast. They're going to indicate if the backblast is clear or is not clear. If it is not clear, you're going to say it one more time. If it is still not clear after the second time, you will call rocket 3 times and fire that weapon. I don't give a fuck who's behind you. It could be me. It could be the captain. It could be the first sergeant. Anybody. If they do not move after calling that shit twice, fire that fucking weapon. Deal with them later. That is the priority here. Telling clear backblast is not a request. It is a command. All right. So once that's done, backblast confirmed clear. Shooter calls rocket, rocket, rocket. Do not fire the weapon, but that is when you will fire it after calling rocket 3 times. You'll immediately spring out your primary weapon system and prepare to engage dismounts. If you haven't automatically, you're going to drop that tube on the ground. It is done. It is now a large paperweight. All right, any questions about using this weapon system?
You said if you call out armor, the bear in the range?
That will be the spotter calling it out. Then you're going to read back what he says to you to confirm it's correct. Yes.
Yes, Sergeant.
And then you call backblast clear, confirm it's clear with your spotter, call rocket 3 times, fire that fucking weapon, and then prepare to engage infantry. Pretty simple, but keep in mind all this needs to be happening between both people in less than 10 seconds. So I don't expect that to happen that quickly today. I want you to take your time and do it right, but over time and practice, you will get this shit down, and it will be epic. All right. Let's see. We're already kind of over time here. I'll let you guys each fire 1 shot real quick. So go ahead and pair up with each other and make this shit happen. Spread it. You can spread it out down the range a little bit. Everyone gets one shot. Once you fired it, come back behind this. Come back to the fucking tower here.
But he's fine for operation time.
271,
But the OSUT time.
range 130.
BTR bearing 271, range
Okay,
130.
armor at
Northwest
246.
area clear.
Northwest clear.
Rocket,
Range
rocket.
43.
You need to make sure that you are even with the person you're calling ranges for. Otherwise,
Okay,
your range
give
is
me my
range
spotter now.
Okay.
That.
So
Yeah,
how do
again.
you find your bearing if you don't have a compass?
PRT
Not- you don't have
range
a compass?
27, or bearing 271,
PRT.
range 129
I
meters.
just tell you it's not coming up.
TR bearing.
See that?
Could you repeat?
I want it right in front
Say
of you.
again.
Roger.
Bearing 271, range 129
Range
meters.
40 at 248 degrees.
BTR bearing 271, range 1.29 meters.
At 240.
Correct.
degrees.
Backpack's clear.
Clear.
That's it.
Fire, fire, fire. Rocket, rocket, rocket.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
They only die if you're a true believer.
Is Serendale trying to run around like he's an instructor?
Hey, he's scared. Nice work. Alright, now call out for him.
I think that's squared away.
They're next to me. Yeah, they're next to me.
Yeah, you don't want to be behind him. This is where the fucking.
Bro, we fired. Let's get back.
is out. You need to get on with them
Yep.
for your safety.
When you're done firing Riley over here.
That your ranges are going to be different too.
Yeah. Sit right up to the back, right next to him. Be shy.
Line up on the wall.
Yes, sir.
Pick a different one for me.
Okay. And you said if we push the.
Let's go circle on me. Then Riley on the wall.
So,
Tab,
hold.
tab, give you bearing. Arm, get your range.
Go ahead, Neil.
Armor bearing 260, range 137.
Can't see it.
It's the MBT.
Yeah, it's behind it. It's the one in the front's blocking it. Well, I'll have to move over to get that one, unless you want to.
Shot.
Okay.
Got that.
What's the range again? Range?
Better shoot it before it kills you. You got 3 seconds. It's turning. It's
135.
turning towards you. The pressure. It's all right.
Which one are you looking at? You look at that one. Yeah, the one behind it. He was calling range for that one.
All right. All right. Let's put it down. We don't have time for this. Someone get this man a tampon. All right. Go school circle on Sergeant Smith. We need medical attention. Private. Both of you. Just go over there. School circle.
Come over here. Let me fondle y'all.
All right, can everyone hear me?
Yes, Sergeant.
All right,
Yes, Sergeant.
we're able to gather at least a basic understanding of how to use our rockets and engage targets, correct?
Sergeant.
All right, good. That's all we need to know. All right, with all that said, that concludes all of day one. Some quick minor things I need to let you guys know. First off, you need to know that we are your COC, so if any questions that you may have in relation to OSUT, you need to direct them straight to us via PM. If anything you have any questions in relation to OSUT and you ask any other person that's not myself, Sergeant McCoy, or Sergeant Margiata, then you're doing it incorrectly, because you will be given information that are misguiding or incorrect that can hinder your performance in OSUT. And you do not want that, especially when you ask a question in OSUT and you answer the question and what a certain person told you, because you don't want to fail and get recycled back to the beginning day when it's everyone on that.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay, so once again, we're your COC. Now, with you guys being a PV1, you're free to fill in for any squad train that may happen. This is a good way to improve your performance in OSUT during day 4 and during day 2, that you can be able to get some leadership experience under your belt, so when you have to team lead, you're good on that. And then when you have to act a role as a grenadier, or automatic rifleman, or rifleman, you can still be able to do that as well. So, by all means, try to fill as much as you can before day 4, so you can be able to be ready and be squared away and not be that scared on certain scenarios that may happen. If you need some squad training times, please let me know after I release you guys, so I can send it to you, let you know what upcoming squad trainings are coming up for day 2 and what some of you can attend coming up to day 4. You guys have any questions for me?
Negative, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Okay. Tom McCoy, Summer, you guys anything for these guys before we close it?
Havoc 1 has platoon training this Sunday. Y'all are free to join.
Tom McCoy?
I got nothing, Sergeant.
Copy. Alright. With that said, class attention. Class dismissed. You guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. See you guys on Thursday. On time. Alright, so we know we need squad training time. I'll just let you guys know that there's a squad training on Wednesday at
It's early.
18:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
If it's Havoc 3, you don't want to go to it.
Oh, it's Havoc 1, actually. It's 1-3's training.
So I recommend you attend so you can teach Havoc 1 to do a few things.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later on the flip side. Enjoy yourself.